Thank you guys so much for coming and just for checking in on me and everything. I really appreciate it, and all of our family. Shawn, Dorian Loucks, my Shawnee, my baby, my honey, my lover, my truest best friend. Shawn and I met in 2003. I owned the salon next door to the real estate office where we both held our licenses. An employee from the real estate office came over to the salon and told me to come check out the hot agent. Little did I know I was coming over to meet my soulmate. It didn't take long for us to realize how attracted we were to each other and how compatible we were. It instantly seemed like we had known each other for so long. We later discovered we both felt the exact same way. We had an office meeting and then went to a restaurant afterwards. Our broker, Bob, quickly excused himself and went home, leaving only Shawn and I. We sat and talked for almost 5 hours that night. I remember thinking, uh-oh, I really like this guy. As most of you know, Shawn and I spent just about every waking moment together. My cousin Erin said it best. We probably spent more time together in 15 and a half years than most couples spend in a lifetime of marriage. Shawn always wanted me right by his side, and I felt the same way. Every time we were apart, he called me a million times just to check in. We were often teased. Ooh, hi, Shawn. We were often teased that never of us could go very long without talking, without talking. Shawn even has his own ringtone on my phone so that I won't miss his calls. When Shawn had the chance to do something by himself, I would often say, "You can go by yourself if you don't want me to go." But he would always, always say, "I want you to go." I'm so grateful that we had such a beautiful day, the day of his big stroke. We went to his first physical therapy appointment, and he was so proud to FaceTime Ashley that evening to tell her that he scored a 27 out of a 28, even though he asked the physical therapist if he could take it again to get a perfect score. I'm going to throw this in too. He also was really excited to tell Ash that the gal came to check on him, and she said, "Okay, now I need you to lift your legs and do all this stuff, and okay, lift this leg or push against my leg so you can't lift your leg up." And so Shawn kind of looked at me, and I thought, oh, here we go. And he held it down so that she couldn't push it. And she looked at me really concerned, and he was loving it. And he laughed so hard because he was messing with her. And I'm like, you have to be serious sometimes. We celebrated that night by going to his favorite restaurant for his usual 3 cheese enchiladas and followed that up by bringing home ice cream to enjoy together. While we sat at our island eating the ice cream, I looked at him and told him how beautiful he was. He stopped, and he looked at me in his typical, "Aw," and then said, "Well, you were so beautiful, too." And then he said, "I guess that makes us a beautiful couple," and we both laughed. I went over, and we hugged for a while. When we were going to bed, we gave each other a kiss goodnight. I came back for a second kiss, and Shawn said, "Hey, you already gave me a kiss." And I said, "Well, where is it? I'm giving you another one because I can." He said, "Okay." We had no idea how fast things were about to change for us, but I'm thankful for the perfect last day that we did share. I feel so incredibly lucky to have been loved by Shawn. I've never been loved so deeply and genuinely before. Pretty much the only times that we weren't together was when he was golfing, which is ironic because most of the time he was golfing with my dad, Mario, our nephew, Jevin, or our son-in-law, Mike. Although he also did love his golf days with his high school and work friends, or anyone who would tee it up with him, for that matter. He was an excellent golfer, and anytime someone he had golfed with, anytime someone who had golfed with him, anytime I met someone who had golfed with him, I would hear about his unbelievably long drives. He would always have me meet him as soon as golf was over and always ask me to join him for dinner after the golf tournaments. Recently, my nephew Jevin said, "You can't find Shawn without Patty. You can't find Patty without Shawn." Even Presley, our 2-year-old granddaughter, knew that we were a match set. When she would FaceTime one of us and the other wasn't present, she would immediately ask, "Where's Grandpop?" or "Where's Meemaw?" She just knew Shawn and I were a package deal, which made us realize that truly we were one. We often laughed about it when we realized that to her, she couldn't have one without the other. Mike and Ashley, I promise to give our granddaughters all the love that your dad and continue to love you, but have continued to give them. Shawn was truly our rock. He stood tall and proud of that title. He was the strongest man I've ever met, both mentally and physically, and always put his family first. Ashley, his adored daughter. Ashley, you brought him so much joy. Every time he got off the phone from talking to you, he'd tell me how proud he was of the woman that you've become, all of the accomplishments you've made, and what your future holds. I think one of the biggest gifts you gave him was marrying Mike, who supports you and loves you unconditionally, and had no problem fitting right into our family. Together, you both made him a grandpop and gave him the gift of his 2 little cuties. Presley and Emma, a symbol of your love was the fact that you were comfortable enough to have him in the room to welcome your babies into the world. He was so happy to have been included, and even bragged about how cool it was that you let him be a part of their births. Your relationship and the type of father he was to you is the reason that I knew that this was the man I truly wanted to be with. Dawn. His incredible mother. Dawn, I've always loved and respected the beautiful bond between you two. Another reason that I knew this man was a keeper was by the way he treated you. I have never seen another man treat his mother with such high regard. I thank you so much for giving birth to him and raising such an incredible human being. I'm so glad that we've been able to live so close for so many years because I know how much it meant to him to have you near. There's nothing like a bond between a mother and a son. That's evident because I witnessed it between the 2 of you. Julie, his little sister, the one he nicknamed Butthead. 4 years ago, we had to painfully tell you goodbye. And as much as he missed you and your dad, he never thought he would see you this soon. Kaya, our beautiful niece. Your uncle loved you like you were his. He talked about you at least once every day. He loved watching you grow through the years. He was one of your biggest supporters and loved showing up to all your activities. On the days you were at our house, he would rush home so we could all be together. Some of his favorite memories were playing catch and helping you with your math. These moments may seem small to many, but to him they were huge. His relationship with my family was incredible. He genuinely loved all of my family as if they were blood. He and my parents had the most amazing connection. My parents considered Shawn to be their son. The first time Shawn and my dad met, we played a white elephant game, and Shawn stole a golf lamp that my dad had just picked. I remember thinking how this was not a great way to start out their potential relationship. We just recently talked and laughed about this incident because after we moved into our house, Shawn gave Dad the golf lamp back as a joke. My dad was so proud of the man that Shawn was and often told me what a great guy he was. They had a beautiful friendship, and they often spoke about how even though Shawn lost his dad in his 20s, my dad was able to come in and be a friend and a backup dad for Shawn. Lee often said, not only were we meant to be, but so were my parents and Shawn. I love to watch my dad brag about Shawn to all of his friends in Palm Desert, like a very proud father, which was really quite cute because most people were probably extremely confused to see this tall white guy and this short with blonde hair and this short brown Italian who were a constant pair on the golf course. My mom and Shawn had such a fun and loving connection as well. They had their coffee time in the mornings in Palm Desert, where the two of them would talk as Mom cooked breakfast and he scrolled through the stock market. He loved to tease her about anything that would make her laugh, especially if it embarrassed her. He loved to play pranks on her, as he told me how she would just handle it and give it right back to him. One time, he told her that we had just installed clapper lights in our house, and he told her to start clapping her hands so that they would turn on. Well, Mom clapped away while he laughed so hard, and then until she realized that he was pulling a prank. The next year, he was so proud because he gave her a Christmas gift of the clapper. Just this Christmas, he set up a gag roll of toilet paper that could not be torn and made sure that no one entered the bathroom until my mom was able to go to the restroom. He waited in the hallway, laughing so hard and calling everybody around while he patiently listened to her response to the toilet paper not tearing. He was thrilled when he heard her struggling and getting frustrated that the toilet paper wouldn't tear off. It always made me so happy to see the ease he felt with my parents. Shawn was always so relaxed and at home with them, so much so that we would spend an entire month in their home in Palm Desert every January. He would tell everyone how cool it was that we all got along so well. He also experienced the gift of a lifetime with my dad, as he and my father were picked to play in a celebrity golf tournament in Lake Tahoe. He had such a great time during that tournament, and we had one of the most incredible weekends with my parents and his family. Shawn loved and took on the same love and care that I have always had for our nieces, nephews, and cousins. It was incredible to see the close relationship that he developed with our nephew, Jevin. Jevin was like the son that he never had. They had a friendship that grew into a mutual love and respect for each other. They shared a love of business, the stock market, and golf. Shawn also developed a closeness to our nieces and nephews. He has always been somewhat of a father figure to all of them. It was never that he would try to take over the position of their father, but rather he embodied a life coach and mentorship type role with all of them. Shawn genuinely loved my sisters as well. He had a unique bond with each one of them. The main goal for him was just always to tease each one of them in some way, while supporting them however needed. He also said how much he loved that no matter what, we were always all there for each other, and he got to experience that too. It was so beautiful to watch him engage with my whole big family from the day we met. He made Christmases so much fun with his jokes and stories. Everyone especially loved how hard he would laugh at his own jokes. Shawn even stated in our wedding video that he knew how important family was to me. So he made sure that both of our families were at our house the Christmas that he asked me to marry him. My husband, Shawn, was so dedicated to his work with the San Francisco Juvenile Probation Department. He received letters from kids from the hall thanking him for treating them with compassion, kindness, and humanity. These letters were such a compliment to him. To know that he had reached a few of them enough to have them take the time to write these letters was beyond measure. One letter stated that he appreciated how Shawn always treated him like a person and not a prisoner. That was just how Shawn was. He treated everyone so well. He made such a such great lifelong friendships at that job, and I'm so appreciative of all the love and support I've received from everyone. He would be so honored. Shawn was also so passionate about our real estate clients. The real estate business allowed us to see other couples and families intimately, which often made us reflect on our own relationship and families. We loved working together, helping make people's lives easier. Shawn was so great at always making everyone feel comfortable in their transitions, no matter which stage of life their move was for. We often heard the same sentiment from many people. You are a true power couple. How do you two work work together, and live together? We loved being together, and we wouldn't have wanted it any other way, and for that, I'm so thankful. Shawn lived his life taking so much pride in his health, working out and making sure that fitness was always a priority. That is why it's so hard to understand why we're standing here today. I have heard of a broken heart before, but I never realized just how real it is. I am grateful for the many times, including the 10 days in between his strokes, that we would talk about how lucky we felt that we had a relationship and a love like ours. Recently, Shawn told Jebin, "Don't worry, you'll find your Patty one day." I never dreamed in a million years that I would meet a man as kind and as loving and giving as Shawn. He always loved me unconditionally. He left me notes around the house or via text expressing his love, and always called me his wife for life. He was my biggest cheerleader and supporter, and always encouraged me to believe that I could do anything, and then he boasted about it, my accomplishments. Christmas of 2014, Shawn filled out a book that he gave me titled "What I Love About You." I've cherished that book since the day he gave it to me and will reflect on it for the rest of my life. When I recently reread it, I was in awe that this incredible man had made me something so deep and meaningful. One of the pages said, "I hope that when we're both old and gray, that you'll look back on our relationship and say," and Shawn's words, that we both cared and loved each other from the bottom of our hearts and treated each other with lifelong respect and dignity. And then he said, "Soulmates for eternity." And this is how I will choose to live, knowing our souls and our hearts will be together for eternity. In the book, you told me all the things you loved about me, and I want to take this moment to tell you all the things that I love about you one last time. I love the way you always said, "Oh." I always knew that you were such a sensitive man, and I know that you would kill me for saying this in front of all of your guy friends. I loved how you always put 2 ice cubes in my coffee so I wouldn't burn my tongue, which I didn't find out until after his first stroke. I love how we shared so many ideas, and we always said what each other were thinking. I love our long-standing joke about the backseat of his Chevy. I told you, since we met, that I had really wanted to get a hold of that back seat so that we could hang it in the garage as a trophy. We laughed so hard about that. And you told me when we bought our new Chevy that I was the only person who would ride in the back seat. I loved the leg cramp bingo story when we were at bingo celebrating Dawn's birthday, and you jumped up and told me to start hitting your leg. The guy running the game came over immediately because he thought you had gotten a bingo. But little did he know, it was just a leg cramp. Another story that solidified my love for you. You were driving home from Santa Barbara in your red IROC with your cat Pouncer riding along in the cat crate in the back seat. You told me you talked to it while you were driving to keep it calm, You stopped for gas and realized the cat had snuck out of the car before you'd even left. I made you tell that story to anyone who would listen. I don't know what was funnier, the fact that you had to drive back to get the cat, or that you were talking to an empty cat crate. That was one of the moments where I was like, I think I love this guy, because he's so sweet. I loved and will never forget the way you always brought me coffee in bed with a good morning kiss every single day. I will never forget how hard we laughed the morning we came home from the hospital after your first stroke. I told you how pathetic it was that I didn't even know the amount of creamer that you put in my coffee. I mean, really? You spoiled me that much. I love the man you were to everyone you came in contact with. You were grounded, always calm, and were always known as the pillar of our family. I love how you made our relationship so easy. I love how you were my security blanket, my counselor, and my confidant. I loved all of our adventures, going to concerts, our Tahoe trips that included hiking, and then going to Camp Richardson to listen to music and drink tons of rum runners. Palm Desert and the endless days of golf and fine dining. Hawaii several times, once for our honeymoon, and a few other times with family. Going to Italy to explore, and then meeting my family and seeing where my dad grew up. I promise to keep the adventure alive and carry you wherever I go. I could go on, sharing our fabulous life we had together, but I must end this letter here. My Shawnee D, I hope you know I will never forget how much you loved me in your own incredible way, and I will carry that love with me for eternity.